When the world fades into darkness, your mind switches on its lights. The thoughts you never had time to face begin to stir. The doubts you hid, the emotions you suppressed. There you lie with your eyes closed, but your mind wide awake and your heart restless. Night should be a refuge, not a battlefield. You didn't come here to keep thinking. You came to find calm, clarity, and real rest. This video is a bridge between the noise of the day and the peace you deserve. A space to release what you cannot control, to reconnect with your inner strength, and to allow the wisdom of the ancient Stoics to gently guide you toward rest. You are not here by accident. Your soul longs to sleep with peace, not with endless thoughts. And for that, you need to remember that within you already lies everything necessary: virtue, reason, balance, and serenity. So close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let these lessons lead you into a tranquil night where your mind rests and your spirit grows strong. Join us on this deep exploration. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. That small gesture helps us immensely. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Accept what you cannot control. As night falls and the world seems to quiet down, thoughts often churn, carrying with them the worries of the day gone by and the uncertainty of what's to come. Many of these anxieties stem from our fight against what we simply cannot change. A battle the Stoics invite us to abandon. Imagine the vast night sky with its unreachable stars and distant constellations. We cannot move or alter them, but we can contemplate their unchanging order and find beauty in it. Likewise, countless aspects of our existence lie beyond our will: the weather, the opinions of others, the past, illnesses. Even the way others choose to act are like those stars. They are there, part of reality, and our energy is wasted if we try to force them to be different. True, deep peace, the kind we crave at the end of the day, does not arise from controlling every thread of life, but from the wisdom to discern what is within our hands and what is not. When we cling to the illusion of total control, we generate constant friction with reality. It's like rowing against a powerful current. We exhaust ourselves without progress, or are swept away in an unwanted direction. Stoicism proposes a radical liberation from this struggle. It suggests that our true freedom lies in our ability to choose how we respond to what happens to us, not in what happens itself. We cannot stop the rain, but we can decide whether to take shelter calmly or get drenched in bitterness. We cannot change the past, but we can decide the lesson we draw from it. We cannot control a loved one's opinion, but we can decide if their judgment disturbs our inner peace. This acceptance is not passive surrender, but an act of profound strength and clarity. It is recognizing the universe's order, life's flow, and aligning ourselves with it instead of opposing it. Like a tree shaken by the wind that does not break but bends gracefully. Knowing its strength lies in adaptability and rootedness in the earth. So too can we find our anchor in accepting the immutable. By doing so, we free vast amounts of energy once consumed by useless worry and exhausting resistance. That energy, once freed, can be channeled toward what we truly can master: our own mind, our attitudes, and our virtuous actions. Night, with its silent wisdom, invites us to this act of letting go. It teaches us that some things simply are, and by accepting their existence without judgment, we open the door to a serenity that transcends circumstances. It is at day's end, when the shadows of the uncontrollable fade with the last ray of light, that we find genuine rest, a peace not dependent on the world, adapting to our desires but on our mind, adapting to the world's reality. In this deep acceptance lies the key to closing the day with virtue, not anxiety, and opening the heart to the calm we long for. Lesson 2. Calmness is your refuge. Look at the night sky, that vast, tranquil expanse. The stars, silent and distant, are not disturbed by the storms that rage on earth, nor by the human dramas unfolding beneath their ancient gaze. They remain in perfect cosmic balance, indifferent to the chaos and rush of our world. This image offers us the first and most essential Stoic lesson. Calmness is your refuge, an impregnable sanctuary, residing deep within your being. It is not the absence of movement, but the stillness of the spirit, steadfast regardless of the storms that batter your existence. Stoicism invites us to emulate this universal calm. It's not about suppressing emotions or becoming numb to life, but understanding that our passions and fears are fleeting, like clouds crossing the sky. True wisdom lies in not letting these clouds permanently obscure the sun of our reason or sweep us away in their turbulent dance. Imagine a deep lake. Its surface can be disturbed by wind and rain, but at the bottom, its waters remain calm and unshaken. Similarly, although your life's external circumstances may be chaotic and challenging, there exists within you a center of stillness you can always find and nurture. This is the sacred space where your true essence dwells. Inner calm is not an accident, but the result of conscious, constant practice. It is recognizing that while we cannot control the events before us, we have absolute power over our perception and response. It is choosing serenity over provocation, lucidity over confusion, composure over adversity. When we develop this ability, we become anchors in an unstable sea. Our peace does not depend on the outside world fitting our expectations, but on our skill in maintaining equanimity and mental clarity no matter what happens. This is true freedom, freedom that no external circumstance can take away. Night, with its profound silence and vastness, offers the perfect setting to cultivate this refuge of calm. In its stillness, we shed the day's worries, the distracting voices, and the inner noises that disturb us. It lets us feel simple existence, the wonder of breathing, the connection to something far greater and more orderly than our petty personal dramas. It is in this immersion in nocturnal tranquility that we practice detachment from the superficial, anchoring ourselves in the essential and strengthening our reason. In doing so, the universe's calm becomes a mirror reflecting our own capacity for serenity, a peace we carry with us always, a refuge we can build and inhabit any time, no matter how noisy or challenging the outside world. Closing the day with this awareness is to embrace a virtue that will transform every dawn. Lesson 3. Clarity of thought. Imagine a serene lake on a windless night. Its surface reflects the moon and stars with astonishing clarity, capturing every detail, every sparkle without distortion. But if a gentle breeze stirs its waters, the image breaks, blurs, and loses its truth. Our mind is like that lake. In the peaceful silence of night, when the whirlwind of daily activities stops and distractions fade, we are granted the opportunity to settle our thoughts. It is in this deep stillness that we can reach clarity of thought, a vision without veils, allowing us to grasp the truth of our existence and the nature of things, free from confusion and illusions that often deceive us. Clarity of thought is an invitation to honest introspection, to look at ourselves in unprejudiced light. Stoicism teaches us that the true path to wisdom begins with self-knowledge. How can we know reality or make virtuous decisions if our mind is clouded by biases, uncontrolled emotions, or an avalanche of external information? Night grants us the precious gift of silence, a space where we can hear the voice of reason, that inner voice often drowned by the day's clamor. Here we can examine our actions, our deepest motives, the root of our reactions, and the nature of our worries. It is in this stillness that we discern precisely what lies within our control and what does not. And in doing so, we begin to shed the immense burden of what escapes our influence, freeing vital energy that we can invest in what truly matters: our perception, our choices, and the cultivation of virtue. Think of your mind as a mirror. During the day, this mirror can become fogged by haste, covered in dust from others' opinions, or even cracked by constant self-criticism and fear. But in the sacred stillness of night, we have the chance to take a soft cloth reason and gently clean it, revealing its bright, polished surface. This is the noble work of Stoic philosophy, polishing the mind's mirror so it reflects reality as it truly is, with unwavering accuracy, without the distortions that keep us from seeing the truth. When our mind is clear, we can make wiser decisions, maintain serenity in challenges, and live in harmony with our rational nature. Cultivating this profound clarity of thought benefits not only ourselves, but also turns us into beacons of peace and sound judgment for those around us. A clear mind radiates tranquility. A serene heart inspires trust. The ability to remain lucid and composed amid adversity is one of the greatest strengths we can develop, a strength nourished in moments of deep introspection. Night, with its revealing silence, provides the time and space for this essential work, allowing our inner being to radiate the same serenity and order we observe in the vast, crystal clear sky, thus closing the day with the wisdom of a mind that sees clearly. Lesson 4. Change is constant. Observe the vast canvas of night and how unfailingly it gives way to dawn. And dawn, in turn, transforms into the fullness of day. The moon waxes and wanes through its phases. The seasons follow one another inexorably, and each star, though it seems still, is on an eternal journey. Everything we behold, from the tiniest atom to the farthest galaxy, is in a state of constant change. This is the immutable law of the universe, impermanence. Stoicism invites us to embrace this not with resignation, but with deep understanding and serene acceptance. Much of our suffering and anxiety at day's end arises from resisting this natural flow of existence. We cling to what is, wishing it would freeze in time, fearing the loss of the familiar and the uncertainty of the new. But in clinging, we create painful tension, a futile struggle against life's unstoppable current. The night, fading with the first light of sun, reminds us that every moment is precious precisely because it is fleeting. The shadows now surrounding us will recede. The moon shining full today will begin its decline tomorrow. And in this constant becoming, there is an intrinsic beauty, a reminder that life is a perpetual cycle, an unending dance of beginnings and endings. To accept that change is constant is an act of profound liberation. It means releasing the illusion of control over what is by nature ephemeral. It involves understanding that people, possessions, circumstances, and situations are borrowed. They come into our lives for a time, and just as naturally depart. We build our happiness on foundations that are inherently unstable and transient. Our happiness will also be fragile and vulnerable. Stoicism, in contrast, guides us to build our peace on what remains unaltered: our virtues, our reason, our integrity, and our ability to choose how to respond to life's flow. These are the immovable rocks in the river of change. When we embrace the truth that everything changes, we can live with a lightness and freedom previously unknown to us. We diminish worry about an uncertain future and instead value and fully immerse ourselves in the present, the only moment we truly possess. Each experience, joyful or challenging, becomes an opportunity to learn, to grow, to temper our character. Losses stop being overwhelming tragedies and instead become part of the journey, lessons disguised in pain. Night, in its wise transition toward dawn, teaches us that the end of something is not cessation, but the prelude to a new beginning. As the old dissolves, a sacred space is created for the emergence of the new. By recognizing and accepting impermanence as a fundamental law of existence, we grow stronger and more adaptable. We stop swimming against the current of change and instead learn to flow with it, finding a serene and deep peace born of radical acceptance of reality as it is. Closing the day with this Understanding is an act of virtue that frees us from the chains of resistance and opens us to the vast potential of existence. Lesson 5. Your inner strength when night spreads over the world, wrapping it in vast silence, and the city lights begin to fade one by one. It is natural to feel vulnerable at times, yet it is precisely in this apparent exposure, in the absence of daytime distractions and noise, that a completely different source of power reveals itself. Your inner strength. This is not the strength in muscles, nor the power to dominate others, but a resistance of the spirit, an unbreakable ability not to give up, rooted deep in the core of your being. Stoicism, that millennial-old guide to the virtuous life, teaches us that difficulties and challenges, far from mere obstacles or misfortunes, are in fact disguised opportunities. They are like gyms for the soul, spaces where our will and capacity for choice are forged and tempered until they become as strong as steel. Night, with its shadows and stillness, often awakens latent fears and hidden anxieties. But it is by facing that darkness head-on, by recognizing it without fleeing, that we find the spark to ignite our own inner light. A light that shines brighter the denser the darkness. Think of the countless stories of humans who throughout history have faced the most harrowing trials and emerged not destroyed, but deeply transformed, wiser, more compassionate, and with unshakable serenity. Their strength did not come from external circumstances or a life free of problems, but from the conscious and virtuous choice of how to respond to what they lived through. We have no control over the events that unfold in our lives, but we possess absolute and inalienable control over our reaction to those events, over how we interpret them. This is the pure essence of Stoic strength, the unyielding ability to maintain reason, temperance, and virtue even when the outside world seems to crumble around us. Imagine an ancient tree with deep roots and a sturdy trunk firmly anchored to the earth. When fierce winds strike, its branches may bend violently, its leaves may tear off and fly away, but its central trunk and roots, the essential parts of its being, remain unmoved. That is the powerful image of your inner strength. Life's blows and unexpected adversities may shake us harshly, may try to unbalance us, but they can never uproot us if we are firmly grounded in our unshakable principles and our own integrity. This strength is not acquired without effort. It requires daily practice, mindful awareness, and constant self-examination. It involves the courage to face your deepest fears, not flee from them. It means learning from every mistake and failure instead of uselessly lamenting them. It means accepting with serenity what you cannot change and acting decisively and wisely on what is within your reach. Night, in its vast and revealing silence, grants us the sacred space to reflect on our perceived weaknesses and instead of lamenting them, transform them into opportunities for exponential growth. It allows us to confront our own shadows, not to be consumed by them, but to understand, integrate, and ultimately transcend them. Your inner strength is the true key to the deepest freedom, the ability to be the master of yourself, your emotions, and your reactions, no matter what unexpected turns fate may take. It is the unshakable certainty that even if the outer world descends into chaos, inside you will always find an immutable place of peace and ironclad resilience, a strength no one, absolutely no one, can take away. And it is by closing the day with this conviction that you prepare yourself for any dawn with unbreakable virtue. Lesson 6. Let go and flow in the deep stillness of the night. As you watch the uninterrupted dance of nature's cycles, the universe whispers a fundamental truth, the liberating power of letting go and flowing. Think of the moon effortlessly traveling across the sky, or the autumn leaves gently releasing from the tree, surrendering to the wind, fully trusting the immutable cycle of nature. Letting go and flowing is not an invitation to passivity or indifference. On the contrary, it is an act of supreme wisdom and immense strength. It means recognizing reality with pristine clarity, accepting it as it is, without judgment or useless resistance. Stoicism insists that much of our suffering and anxiety at day's end arises from our refusal to release what we cannot control. We passionately wish things were different, want people to act a certain way, desire the past to be altered, or the future to fit our expectations. But resisting reality generates devastating inner tension, endless friction that exhausts us and plunges us into deep anguish. The act of letting go and flowing frees us from this heavy burden. When we accept an unchangeable fact, we release the vast energy once spent on useless resistance and can redirect it toward constructive action or simply toward lasting inner peace. Imagine a violent storm. If you fight the wind and rain head-on, you will be swept away. But if you wisely seek shelter or stand firm and wait patiently, you survive. Likewise, life's storms are inevitable. The key is not to avoid them, but to learn how to navigate. Through the transformative power of letting go and flowing lies in the deep, understanding that not everything is under our control. The only thing we truly control is our attitude, perception, and response. Acceptance doesn't mean agreement with a situation. It doesn't mean endorsing injustice or surrendering to adversity without purpose. It means lucidly recognizing how things are, and from this foundation of reality, discerning the wisest, most virtuous next step. This act of acceptance is deeply liberating. It sheds resentment, corrosive anger, overwhelming frustration born from resistance. It allows us to see the situation with unprecedented clarity, without the distorting veil of our expectations or desires. And it is in that clarity where we find the most genuine solutions, or at least the essential serenity, to face the challenge. With grace, night, with its unwavering calm and invitation to introspection, is the perfect time to practice this art of letting go. It offers sacred space to release, to detach, to embrace reality in all its complex, transient beauty. It shows us that letting go and flowing is not an endpoint, but a continuous path towards deep serenity, practical wisdom, and a life lived in harmony with the constant flow of existence. True peace is not found in the chimera of changing the world to fit our desires, but in the powerful virtue of changing our perspective to fit the world's unchanging reality. Closing the day with this deep acceptance frees you from anxiety's chains and lets you flow through life with unbreakable peace. Lesson 7. The wealth of simplicity. The brilliance of stars in the vast night needs no adornment or intricate complexity to manifest its splendor. Its beauty lies in pure simplicity, in the ancestral light traveling millions of years to touch our eyes. Likewise, Stoicism teaches that true wealth, authentic fulfillment, and lasting happiness are not found in accumulating complexity, but in consciously embracing a simple life. In a world that constantly urges us to consume more, acquire more, seek extravagance and complication, as if happiness resided there, night offers a respite, a balm for the soul. It invites us to shed the superfluous, to see with crystal clarity that true happiness is measured not by possessions amassed, but by the quality of our character and the unshakable peace dwelling in our mind. Think of what you truly need to sustain your existence: food, shelter, restful sleep, and meaningful human connections. Beyond these essentials, much of what we desire are extras, luxuries that paradoxically often complicate life instead of enriching it, adding layers of worry and anxiety. A simple life is not poverty or deprivation. At its core, it is a deliberate, conscious choice. The decision to live with fewer distractions, fewer material ties, with the fundamental purpose of focusing our energy on what truly matters and nourishes our spirit. Choosing simplicity frees not only precious time, but vast mental and emotional energy. It liberates the mind from constant worry about maintaining, acquiring, and protecting material goods. This deep freedom lets us direct attention and effort toward cultivating essential virtues: wisdom to discern right, justice to act rightly, courage to face challenges firmly, and temperance to master impulses and desires. Simplicity teaches us the art of valuing what we already have, finding deep gratitude in everyday life, in the simple marvel of each breath. The immense beauty of a starry night, the warmth of sincere conversation with a loved one, the intrinsic satisfaction of a job well done. It allows us to savor the pure pleasure of a moonlit walk, the delight of deep talk, the joy of genuine company. Night, with majestic sobriety and beauty, without artifice, lights the path toward this way of living. It reminds us that what truly matters is not seen with the eyes of unbridled ambition, but with the serene gaze of appreciation. It invites us to let go of unnecessary burdens and discover the true freedom of not desiring the superfluous. In embracing simplicity, we reveal that authentic abundance is not what we hold in our hands, but what we experience in our hearts. It is not what we own outwardly, but who we are inwardly. And it is in this virtue of simplicity, this conscious choice of living simply, where we find peace and satisfaction. No material wealth, however vast, can match. It is the deep wisdom of living with little, but living it all fully. Lesson 8. Listen to your truth in the heart of the deepest night. When the world's murmur falls completely silent, a portal opens to truth, not the noisy, volatile truth of public debate, nor the fleeting truth of shifting opinions, but the deep, immutable truth residing at the very core of existence and fundamentally within our own being. Stoicism invites an active search for this truth in silence, to hear what the day's ceaseless noise often obscures. Imagine trying to decipher a vital message in a crowded, noisy market. Nearly impossible, but retreat to perfect stillness, and each word becomes clear, resonating with absolute clarity. Our mind by day is often that noisy market, cluttered with disorderly thoughts, incessant worries, fleeting distractions competing for attention. But in night's sublime stillness, the mind's constant chatter fades. And we begin to hear the subtle yet powerful whispers of truth dwelling within. This truth is not always comfortable. Sometimes, deepest silence confronts us with our internal contradictions, hidden weaknesses, and areas where we have perhaps strayed from our highest principles. But it is precisely in this honest recognition, in this brave confrontation, where immense potential for genuine growth lies. Truth, even if causing momentary pain, always liberate. It frees us from self-imposed illusions, protective self-deceptions, and the heavy burden of living an inauthentic existence misaligned with our true selves. Stoicism urges us to seek truth relentlessly, with insatiable curiosity, without fearing what we might find in introspection. Because only by seeing things as they truly are, without fantasy or distortion, can we act with deep wisdom and live with unbreakable virtue. Night, with its serene presence, becomes our wisest silent counselor. In its enveloping quiet, we can deeply meditate on past actions, intimate intentions, and the impact of our words on the world. We can ask essential questions. Am I living according to my highest values? Am I faithful to the voice of my reason and my nature? Listening to your truth reveals the genuine reasons behind your decisions, the true causes of your strongest emotions. It helps discern what is truly essential in life versus what is merely superficial. It shows that true happiness and lasting peace come not from possessions or external achievements, but from internal coherence, living in deep harmony with the truth residing within us and the universe's vast architecture. Yes, night transforms into a safe sanctuary for profound reflection, a space where naked, unadorned truth reveals itself. To those brave enough to listen to its silent voice. In that attentive listening, we find not only pure knowledge, but deep peace born from authenticity and perfect alignment with the night's silence. Truth does not always bring expected answers. It grants the fundamental clarity to live with unwavering integrity. Closing the day with this profound connection to your truth ensures a night of serenity and a dawn full of purpose. Lesson 9. Live in the now. Night in its majestic existence dwells fully in itself. It neither frets over the inevitable dawn nor laments the day that has faded into the past. It simply is in its deep stillness, letting the stars' light shine. This is one of Stoicism's deepest and most liberating lessons, the imperative to live in the now. All too often, our restless mind endlessly drifts between regrets and guilt from the past and anxieties and fears of the future. We get entangled in what has already happened and cannot be changed, or fret over what might come and hasn't yet arrived. In this constant back and forth, life, the only moment we truly possess and experience, slips through our fingers, never fully lived or appreciated. Stoicism, with its practical, virtuous focus, teaches us that the only place and time where we can exercise our will, make meaningful decisions, and hold true freedom is here and now. The past is unchangeable memory, already experienced. The future is mere expectation, a blank canvas, yet to be painted. Only the present moment you are living is tangible reality, the sole point of action and awareness. In night's enveloping calm, we have the unique opportunity to firmly anchor our attention. In this present moment, we can feel the gentle breeze touch our skin, hear barely perceptible sounds from the silence, watch the dance of shadows and darkness. By consciously immersing ourselves in the present, we free ourselves from invisible chains of time and enter a state of total presence. This doesn't mean ignoring past or future completely. It means learning valuable lessons from the past to avoid repeating mistakes, planning the future with wisdom and foresight, but without allowing these reflections to steal the present's peace and vitality. Living in the now is more than an idea. It is a practice, a conscious, constant discipline of repeatedly bringing attention back to what is happening right now. When fully present, our perceptions sharpen, our capacity for gratitude expands, and our ability to respond effectively to life's challenges becomes unparalleled. We are no longer fragmented between times, but whole, united in the only time that truly matters. Think of the vast difference between being a mere movie spectator and the protagonist living each scene intensely. When caught in illusions of past or future, we are passive spectators of our own life. Anchored firmly in the present, we become heroes of our story, living each experience with absolute intensity, awareness, and fullness. Night, with minimal external stimulation, facilitates this deep immersion. With fewer distractions, it is easier to direct attention inward to breath, bodily sensations, and the simple, wonderful fact of existence. By diligently practicing living in the now, we discover true happiness is not a distant goal to chase and reach someday, but an inherent quality of the experience itself, one we can find and savor any time, regardless of circumstances. It is the deep understanding that no matter what the future holds, the present is always a gift, a golden opportunity to live wisely, virtuously, and with unshakable serenity. It is in this space of conscious presence, in night's revealing calm, where peace becomes tangible, a safe, unbreakable refuge we carry with us at every step, illuminating every moment of our existence. Closing the day with this awareness is an act of deep gratitude and wisdom. Lesson 10. Master your mind. In the vast, silent expanse of night, the human mind often becomes an echo chamber of its own thoughts. They may be barely audible whispers, or conversely noisy, disturbing inner storms. What is undeniable is that few aspects of life influence our peace as profoundly as the ceaseless whirlwind of our mind. Stoicism, with practical wisdom, offers invaluable guidance and a powerful tool to navigate these inner waters, the ability to master your mind. Fundamentally, we are not the sum of our thoughts. We are essentially the observer of our thoughts. This subtle but profound distinction is the key to mental freedom. Our thoughts are like clouds passing through the vast sky of consciousness, appearing, moving with the wind, and eventually dissolving. We do not have to identify with every passing cloud, much less allow each to drag us in its direction. Mastering your mind does not mean suppressing thoughts or forcing ideas to disappear. It means consciously choosing which thoughts to nurture and which to calmly let go. It is the power to critically examine each idea, honestly asking if it is true, useful, leading to virtue, or if it drags us toward needless suffering. The vast majority of our anxieties, deepest fears, and corrosive anxiety do not come from external events themselves, but from how we interpret them. Our mind, with its judgments and narratives, assigns meaning, tinting them with colors of good or evil. The wise Stoic understands that true power, the only power we possess, resides in this capacity for judgment and choice of perspective. In night's enveloping stillness, with far fewer external distractions, we have the perfect chance to observe the constant flow of thoughts. We can sit at the shore of consciousness and watch ideas come and go like waves on a beach. Which thoughts serve us, build us up? Are they productive, constructive, or are they merely ingrained mental habits dragging us into useless worries and anxiety cycles? Mastering your mind means recognizing fully that we are guardians of our own mental space. We have the power to decide what we let in and what we calmly let go like leaves on a river's current. This does not mean we will never experience negative or disturbing thoughts. Means we can develop the skill through constant practice of not clinging to them, not letting them define our mood, dictate actions, or steal inner peace. Think of your mind as a garden. If you don't consciously care for what you plant, weeds inevitably grow, choking beneficial plants. But if we intentionally cultivate thoughts of gratitude, acceptance, wisdom, and resilience, our mental garden will bloom in full splendor, bearing fruits of serenity and well-being. Night offers the sacred space for this internal gardening to prune what doesn't serve, water what nourishes, and nurture what elevates. By consciously exercising control over our mental processes, we reclaim our inner freedom, the inalienable freedom so valued by Stoicism. We become architects and builders of our own mental peace, instead of mere passengers swept by random currents of thought. Mastering your mind is the master key that opens the door to a life of deep serenity and unshakable resilience. And night's quiet is the ideal stage to develop and strengthen this transformative skill. Closing the day with this awareness ensures your mind is a sanctuary of peace, not a source of anxiety. Lesson 11. Your spirit is free as cities fall into deep sleep and the outside world slows its frantic pace. Your mind has a sublime opportunity to transcend its perceived limits and discover its true essence. The free mind, the free spirit, Stoicism, teaches us that although our body may be confined by external circumstances and life's challenges may be immense, your spirit, that divine spark of reason within you, can always remain unconditionally free. This freedom is not a license to act without consequences or whimsically. Rather, it is the inherent and natural ability to choose your perceptions, shape your inner judgments, and direct your responses regardless of what happens outside. It is the unbreakable autonomy of your consciousness. Consider Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was once a slave. Despite his physical condition, he taught Stoicism with a depth and freedom of spirit unmatched by many free teachers. His body belonged to another, but his mind, his innate capacity to reason, discern, and choose, His values was entirely his own God. No one, absolutely no one, could take that away from him. This is the radical and liberating truth of the free spirit. No one can force you to think something you do not want to think, believe something your reason does not accept, or react in a way you have not consciously chosen. This inherent power, this impregnable refuge within you, is the very center of your autonomy and human dignity, got in the revealing stillness of the night. We can deeply reflect on how many of our own chains, those that stop us from moving forward, are actually forged by ourselves. Are we trapped by unrealistic expectations, by the crushing weight of others' opinions, or by fears that exist only as ghosts in our imagination? The concept of the free spirit involves the brave act of releasing these self-imposed bonds. It means rigorously questioning limiting beliefs, challenging automatic thought patterns that disempower us, and reclaiming sovereign control over our vast and complex inner world. By recognizing that we alone are the true masters of our thoughts and judgments, we free ourselves from the constant need for external approval, from the paralyzing fear of failure or criticism. We can make decisions with crystal clear clarity, grounded in our reason and deepest values, instead of being swept away by volatile emotions or superficial social pressures. This internal freedom allows us to maintain unshakable calm in the fiercest storm, serene tranquility in the deepest adversity. We do not deny pain or difficulty, but we know with certainty that our inner peace does not depend on external ups and downs, but on our unbreakable ability to choose how we perceive and respond to every situation. The night, with its majestic vastness and promise of infinity, reminds us of our mind and spirit's limitless capacity. It invites us to explore their deepest corners, free them from self-imposed limits, and recognize that in this vast and mysterious universe, true imprisonment, or true freedom, lies exclusively in how we think and choose to live. The free spirit is the most valuable treasure we possess, an inner light that never goes out, a flame that burns brighter even in the deepest darkness. Closing the day with this awareness is to walk toward true liberation. Lesson 12. Always standing. Imagine a slender, flexible bamboo tree. When a hurricane wind strikes it fiercely, it does not break. Instead, it bends gracefully. It yields to the force, but when the storm passes, it stands tall again, stronger and more rooted than before. This is the pure essence of always standing. A fundamental quality Stoicism urges us to cultivate deep within ourselves. Especially in the introspective stillness of the night, we can lucidly reflect on the challenges we have faced and how we responded to them. In life, it is inevitable that we encounter moments of deep hardship, painful losses, weakening illness, discouraging failures, or heartbreaking disappointments. The question is not if we will face these trials, but how we will respond to them. Always standing from a Stoic perspective does not mean avoiding pain or falling. It means, on the contrary, embracing suffering as an invaluable opportunity for growth. It is the unbreakable ability to recover after every blow, to extract deep lessons from adversity, and to emerge wiser, stronger, and more resilient. It implies a radical shift in perception, seeing problems not as insurmountable barriers, but as challenges that forge and improve our character. Think of a noble metal that is tempered and hardened in the fiercest fire. Similarly, our difficulties inherently have the power to strengthen us and reveal skills and abilities we didn't know we possessed. The night, with its enveloping shadows and invitation to self-examination, grants us sacred space to reflect on how we react to hardship. Do we surrender to despair, sink into useless complaints about what we cannot change, or do we seek with a higher vision a hidden lesson, the opportunity for authentic growth behind adversity's veil? Stoicism teaches us vehemently to accept with serenity what we cannot change and to focus all our vital energy on the one thing fully under our control, our attitude, decisions, and actions. The virtue of always standing grows stronger when we assimilate this fundamental distinction. When we free ourselves from the heavy burden of trying to control the uncontrollable, we can channel all our previously scattered energy to strengthen our spirit and reason. This involves deep gratitude, even for difficult experiences. Because each one contains invaluable teaching. It means understanding that failure is not the end point of a path, but a necessary and often crucial part of the journey toward success. And self-discovery. It means fully trusting in our intrinsic ability to adapt, find creative solutions, and remain unwaveringly faithful to our deepest values, no matter how complicated or desperate the situation may seem. The night, with its mysterious vastness and apparent harshness, also reveals its profound calm and imperturbable permanence. Likewise, in the midst of the most intense adversity, we can find a center of serenity, an inexhaustible source of inner strength that allows us to bend without breaking and, ultimately, to rise again with renewed dignity. Always standing is not a life without scars, but the sublime beauty of healing with virtue, moving forward with newly acquired wisdom, stronger, more whole, and with a peace that only overcoming can grant. Closing the day with this resolution is an act of courage and profound virtue. Lesson 13. Love without possessing. Watch carefully how the leaves of a tree gently detach in autumn, dancing with the wind before resting on the ground. They do not cling to the branches. Instead, they surrender confidently to the natural cycle, knowing their time has come. This is the very essence of loving without possessing, a fundamental Stoic teaching deeply illustrated by the night's daily cycle of bidding farewell to the light. Loving without possessing does not mean being indifferent or suppressing our emotions or avoiding deep relationships. It means lucidly understanding that everything in the external world is transient, that all is fleeting, and that clinging desperately to what by nature is not meant to last only leads to inevitable suffering and constant anxiety. When we build our happiness, sense of worth, and peace upon material things, people, or situations, fundamentally beyond our control, we become inherently vulnerable to disappointment, loss, and unrest. Stoicism invites us to love with all our intensity and deeply value what life gives us, but always from a clear awareness that all is temporary. Attachment is different from love. Love is to appreciate, care for, and nurture with respect and freedom. Attachment is to want to possess, control, and manipulate, believing that happiness depends on something's permanence. When we cling, the fear of losing what we think is ours settles in our hearts, stealing our inner peace like a persistent shadow. The wisdom of loving without possessing frees us from this emotional slavery, allowing us to fully enjoy what life offers in the present without the anguish or paralyzing anxiety that joy may fade in the future. It allows us to bid farewell to what leaves with serene elegance and to accept what comes with deep tranquility. Think of material possessions. We acquire them with effort, care for them carefully, but deep down we know their existence is temporary. They wear out, break, get lost, or simply change hands. If our identity or happiness depends fundamentally on these possessions, we become fragile and vulnerable. The same applies to human relationships. We love deeply those in our lives, but recognize each individual is independent with their own path, and relationships, no matter how strong, evolve, change, and sometimes end. Loving without possessing in this context means loving without expectations of ownership or control, allowing others full freedom and simultaneously freeing ourselves from the burden of their actions or decisions. The night, stripping away light and daytime bustle, teaches us this profound liberation. It shows us how absence can paradoxically open vast space for something new and different. In its introspective stillness, we can practice mental detachment, by letting go of recurring thoughts that bind us, worries that chain us, and unrealistic expectations that condemn us to disappointment. By cultivating the wisdom of loving without possessing, our inner peace becomes unshakable, a fortress nothing can overthrow. We become less vulnerable to fate's unexpected twists, sudden losses, or uncontrollable changes. We find a deep freedom knowing true wealth does not lie in what we accumulate or control, but in the unchanging calm of our mind and the unbreakable virtue of our character. Loving without possessing is the sublime art of living fully, loving with an open heart, without clinging, and finding unshakable peace in life's constant, beautiful flow. Closing the day with this truth is the essence of virtue and serenity. Lesson 14. Your heroic journey. In ancient tales, the hero embarks on an epic journey, facing enormous challenges, overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles, and ultimately returning home transformed in essence. This universal hero's journey is not exclusive to mythic stories. It deeply resonates with Stoic philosophy, and the knight, with its symbolism of introspection, trial, and rebirth, invites us to bravely explore your own heroic journey. Stoicism, in its practical wisdom, teaches that each of us is, without exception, the absolute protagonist of our own life. We are not passive spectators dragged by the world's capricious currents. On the contrary, we possess the inherent power and responsibility to be heroes in our own narrative. Heroism, from the Stoic perspective, is not measured by grand physical feats or loud victories over external enemies. It is fundamentally measured by unbreakable mastery over oneself, the capacity to live with virtue, wisdom, and courage regardless of circumstance, no matter how harsh or demanding. Your own heroic journey begins with a call to deep introspection, brave self-observation of your inner world. It is an invitation to honestly recognize your weaknesses and to empower your intrinsic strengths. The night, with its revealing silence and retreat atmosphere, is the perfect setting for this soul examination. It allows us to confront internal shadows, rooted fears, persistent insecurities, limiting habits that often prevent us from living a full, authentic, and virtuous life. This confrontation is not for self-punishment, but for understanding and transformation. Challenges and trials on this journey are absolutely inevitable. They are life's opportunities, given with indifferent wisdom, to grow, to temper the soul. A Stoic does not lament or complain about difficulties. Instead, they see them as direct invitations to apply their principles, strengthen their character, and manifest their virtue. Before every obstacle, the Stoic question echoes: how can I respond with wisdom? How can I maintain my integrity and inner peace in this situation? How can I turn it into an opportunity for virtue? These are the fundamental questions guiding your inner hero. Your own heroic journey also involves an unrelenting quest for wisdom. It is not about accumulating knowledge for its own sake, like a scholar hoarding unread books, but about using that knowledge to live better, more aligned with reason and virtue. It is a constant commitment to continuous learning, daily self-improvement, and congruence, making your external actions unwaveringly match your inner reason and highest principles. Finally, the hero's return is not going back to the starting point as the same person who left. It is essentially a radical transformation. You return with a renewed perspective, deeper understanding of life and yourself, and the invaluable ability to share that wisdom and strength with others. The night that always ends in the miracle of dawn symbolizes this new beginning. Each night offers this sacred opportunity to reflect on the day that ended, integrate lessons learned, and prepare with a clear mind and renewed spirit for the new journey that begins with sunlight. Your heroic journey is life itself, lived with conscious purpose, deep virtue, and unbreakable serenity. It is the personal choice to face reality as it is, with unwavering courage, to cultivate an unalterable calm amid the world's chaos, and to find true freedom and mastery over yourself, your reactions, and your judgments. And in the deep stillness of the night, you have space to plan the next wise steps of this heroic journey. Knowing each challenge is a precious opportunity to reveal and manifest the virtuous hero residing deep within you. Closing. The day with this awareness is forging a legacy of inner greatness. Lesson 15. Connect with Allah's house lights, turn off one by one. Plunging the world into the soft darkness of night, we are invited to remember that, despite distances and the loneliness we sometimes feel in this vast universe, we are essentially connected in a deep and invisible way. The same majestic moon illuminating your window, right now with its serene glow simultaneously, shines upon millions of human beings in countless places on the planet. This is a fundamental Stoic lesson, the profound need to connect with others and cultivate genuine compassion for all humanity. Stoicism, in its expansive vision, teaches the concept of world citizenship, or cosmopolitanism. We recognize that we are an integral part of a global community, a universal brotherhood sharing the same human nature with its universal joys and shared sufferings. And upon recognizing this profound interconnection, compassion naturally and spontaneously arises in our hearts. Compassion, from a Stoic perspective, is not simply feeling pity for another. It is, in a much higher sense, deep empathy, the ability to understand with the heart, to feel others' suffering as if it were our own, and to sincerely desire to help ease that pain, not to understand that at our purest essence, we all face similar challenges, all yearn for happiness, and all naturally seek to avoid unnecessary pain. When we open ourselves to this universal truth, the invisible barriers we build between us, born from ego or fear, begin to dissolve like morning dew. Last night, with its eloquent silence, offers us sacred space to reflect on our human relationships. It allows us to feel that deep interconnectedness that unites us to our fellow beings, not only to loved ones, but to the entire human family. It invites us to go beyond the limits of selfishness and contemplate the collective well-being of our global community. How can we act in each interaction in a way that benefits not only ourselves, but also elevates and enriches others? How can we be a positive force, a catalyst of kindness and virtue in the world we inhabit? These are the profound questions that emerge in serene, nocturnal reflection. Human connection is a vital component for our own flourishing and development. As virtuous beings, we are not designed to live in existential isolation. The act of giving, serving selflessly, extending a helping hand, not only benefits the receiver, but profoundly and immeasurably enriches the giver. It is by practicing active compassion and benevolence that we find our fullest humanity, our highest expression of being. Stoicism fervently encourages us to always be kind in our daily interactions, to treat others with unbreakable justice, sincere kindness, and deep understanding. To recognize that despite our superficial differences, we share the same spark of reason, the same inherent capacity for virtue. The night, revealing the immensity of the cosmos, reminds us we are part of something infinitely greater than ourselves, a vast web of life and consciousness. The same invisible force that moves the stars in their cosmic dance is the one that, on a more intimate level, unites human hearts in a network of compassion. Actively cultivating compassion and consciously strengthening our connections with others, we not only contribute to improving the world around us, but also develop an inexhaustible source of lasting peace and profound meaning in our own lives. It is in union, in the sincere recognition of our shared humanity, that true serenity resides, a peace that expands from within us to all that surrounds us. Closing the day with this awareness of connection is cultivating the highest virtue and ensuring a rest filled with humanity. Lesson 16. Fleeting beauty. Full moon, at its brightest splendor, suspended in the celestial vault, is an image of such dazzling beauty it seems eternal. Yet we know with certainty that its full phase is inherently momentary, that tomorrow it will begin its slow and graceful decline. In this profound truth, that everything passes, that nothing is permanent, lies an essential Stoic teaching. Fleeting beauty. All too often, humans tend to value above all that which we perceive as permanent, that which we can possess indefinitely and keep unchanging. However, Stoicism invites us to a radical shift in perspective, to find the deepest, most moving beauty precisely in what is transient, in the fleeting nature of each moment. Every sunset, with its changing colors, is unique and unrepeatable. Every flower blooms delicately for a limited time. Every spontaneous laugh of a child is a pure instant that will never repeat in the same way. If we cling to the illusion that everything must last forever, we condemn our hearts to lose the immense opportunity to appreciate the exquisite beauty that resides in constant change, in the ephemeral passage of every moment. Think of a sublime piece of music. Its intrinsic beauty is not found in a single isolated note, however perfect, but in the harmonious sequence of notes that appear, fade, and give way to the next. It is in the ceaseless flow, and how sounds are born and die, where its profound harmony resides. Similarly, life itself is a complex and beautiful symphony of moments that do not last, and our ability to appreciate them fully, precisely because of their transient nature, is the key to a deeply lived and meaningful existence. The paralyzing fear of losing something, of something fading away, often prevents us from fully enjoying what we possess and experience in the present. But by embracing and accepting that everything is temporary, we free ourselves from that oppressive anxiety that robs us of peace. We can love with much greater intensity, experience every sensation with unprecedented depth, because we know that every moment is a fleeting gift, a jewel lent by time. Night, with its incessant change of lunar phases, with the gradual fading of the brightest stars as dawn advances, is a tireless and silent teacher of fleeting beauty. It teaches us to value darkness for its intrinsic beauty, for the clarity it allows us to see the stars without lamenting the absence of the blinding light of day. It invites us to find deep stillness and serene wisdom in what passes, in what flows, in what fades. This lesson urges us to live with much higher awareness, with full attention in each instant. It makes us more attentive to the small details of life, to the everyday joys we often overlook in our rush. It pushes us to savor every experience with gratitude, to be fully present in every human interaction, because we know with certainty that those moments, just as they are, will not repeat. Fleeting beauty is the wisdom of not clinging desperately, of letting go with serene elegance, and of finding the deepest fulfillment in the constant and uninterrupted flow of life. It is the ability to see that true beauty does not reside in the immutable, the static, but in the eternal and ever-changing dance of existence, in the delicate and precious nature of every moment we are given. In this deep acceptance, we find unbreakable peace and a renewed appreciation for the wonderful and ephemeral work of art that life itself is. Closing the day with this profound appreciation is an act of virtue that fills the soul. Lesson 17. Light in the darkness. The night, despite its apparent dominion over darkness, holds within it a singular and profound clarity. It allows the stars, those celestial gems invisible in the dazzling light of day, to shine with astonishing intensity, revealing a universe of wonder that would otherwise go unnoticed. Similarly, Stoicism, in its purest essence, teaches us that in the moments of deepest stillness, in the night of our incessant distractions and the deafening noise of the world, we can discover an inner light and a clear purpose that often escape us amid the frantic hustle of daily life. During the day, our minds tend to be fragmented, scattered, bombarded by an unending flow of information, countless demands and expectations, and the contradictory opinions of others. In this whirlwind, it becomes incredibly difficult to see clearly what truly matters, what is essential for our well-being and virtue. But when the outside world silences, when foreign voices fade, we can, with conscious effort, clear the veil that clouds our perception and begin to see reality with astonishing precision. This light we refer to is not a magical or mystical phenomenon. At its root, it is the direct result of using reason consciously and disciplined. It is the innate ability to discern clearly between what is truly important and what is merely trivial, between what we can control and what is irreversibly beyond our reach, between objective truth and self-imposed illusion or fantasy. Stoicism firmly urges us to develop this capacity for critical thinking, to not accept things without reflection, but to examine them with a calm, serene, rational mind, free of prejudices. Think about how the most consequential decisions in your life are made. Very often, the best and wisest decisions are not made amid chaos or haste, but after a period of calm and deep reflection. The night, with its inherent invitation to introspection, is the ideal moment, the perfect setting for this vital practice. We can review the events of the day that has ended, honestly evaluate how we reacted to them, and plan the immediate future with a clearer mind and a clearer vision. Light in the darkness also implies a radical act of honesty with ourselves. It means having the courage to recognize our own entrenched prejudices, our human flaws, our comforting but limiting illusions. It is daring to see things as they are, without adornments or self-deception. And it is precisely in this vulnerability and honesty where the true and transformative power of change resides. When we manage to see things with absolute clarity, we can act with defined purpose and clear direction. Our actions align more deeply with our most rooted values and our rational nature. We become inherently more effective at solving complex problems and considerably more resilient to the difficulties life presents us. The night, showing us the vast and enigmatic firmament, teaches us the immensity of the universe and our small but immensely significant place within it. This cosmic perspective can provide us with deep clarity about what truly matters in human life, beyond the trivial and superficial. By actively cultivating light in the darkness, we transform into beacons of wisdom, not only for ourselves, but also for others. We stop being swept aimlessly by the capricious currents of the world and begin to navigate our life with an unbreakable internal compass, guided by reason, virtue, and a clear purpose. In this nocturnal lucidity, in this deep calm, we find the deepest answers to existential questions and the most direct path to a life of lasting peace and transcendent meaning. Closing the day with this light is to ensure that wisdom illuminates every step you take. Lesson 18. Give thanks unceasingly in the enveloping stillness of the night. When the bustle of the day has ceased and worries begin to dissolve into the vast darkness, one of the most powerful, transformative, and pure emotions we can experience emerges from the depths of our being: gratitude. Stoicism teaches us to give thanks unceasingly for every moment of our existence, not only for great blessings and monumental achievements, but for the countless small and delicate gifts life offers us at every instant. Gifts often unnoticed, invisible in the whirl and rush of daily life. Gratitude, in its essence, is the antithesis of resentment, corrosive envy, and chronic dissatisfaction. When our mind and heart relentlessly focus on what we lack, on what we desire and do not have, we create an existential void within ourselves, a sense of scarcity that impoverishes our spirit. But when we consciously and deliberately choose to focus our attention on what we already possess, on the countless riches of our life, our spirit is flooded with deep and vast abundance, a fullness that transcends the material. The night, bringing with it the end of activities and the invitation to rest, offers us a sacred and invaluable space to reflect on the day that has passed. Which moments, no matter how insignificant they may seem at first glance, deserve our deepest gratitude? A kind conversation that nourished us, an unexpected moment of peace amid chaos, a miracle of our health, the ability to see the beauty of the world, or to hear the music of life, the safety of a roof that shelters us. Each of these is a treasure. Wise Stoic knows that even the most difficult and painful experiences can paradoxically be an inexhaustible source of gratitude, since they often contain invaluable lessons and unparalleled opportunities for deep growth and personal transformation. To be grateful for difficulties does not mean we wish for or seek them. It means rather that we recognize their inherent potential to shape us, to strengthen us, and to elevate us to a new level of consciousness. It means understanding that even in adversity there is a hidden purpose. Think of the simple and miraculous fact of waking up every morning. It is in itself an immense gift, a new opportunity for existence, the ability to breathe freely, to move our body with purpose, to think clearly, to feel deeply. These are blessings we too often take for granted until for some reason we lose them. The constant practice of giving thanks unceasingly for every moment helps us awaken to the vast wealth already present in our life. Wealth that often goes unnoticed. It is not about waiting for something extraordinary or monumental to happen to feel gratitude, but about discovering the extraordinary in the common, in the ordinary, in the everyday. It is a conscious and deliberate choice of how we see the world and how we experience it. By choosing to see life through the eyes of gratitude, we radically transform our experience of existence. The burdens that once seemed heavy feel lighter, worries lessen in intensity, and a deep sense of peace and genuine joy begins to flood our being. Gratitude is an inexhaustible source of inner happiness, one that does not depend on the whims of what happens outside, but on our mental attitude, our perspective. The night, with its sacred silence and invitation to deep reflection, is the perfect time for this transformative exercise. Before sinking into sleep, take a few moments to mentally list or write in a journal what you are grateful for. Allow that feeling of sincere appreciation to fill you completely. The gift of gratitude is that it not only makes you feel better and fuller, but also connects you more deeply with the inherent abundance of life and the unbreakable serenity born of a grateful heart. It is the master key that opens the door to lasting peace, and a virtue that lights your path. Closing the day with this gratitude ensures a night of true rest. Lesson 19. Harmony within you in the vast and starry night. Each celestial body, from the brightest star to the farthest galaxy, occupies its place with astonishing precision, following its immutable orbit in a cosmic dance of perfect harmony. There are no chaotic collisions, no disorder, but a sublime order, a silent symphony. Stoicism invites us to emulate this universal harmony deep within our own being. To align each of our actions, thoughts, and emotions with reason and virtue, thus creating an internal melody of peace, coherence, and balance. Harmony within you is the direct result of living according to your own rational nature, with that divine spark of reason residing within you. It means that your external actions are in perfect tune with your deepest and most essential values, that your spoken or thought words authentically reflect your true thoughts, and that your emotions, far from being uncontrolled forces dragging you away, are guided and tempered by reason. When dissonance exists, a lack of congruence between what you think, say, and do arises a deep internal discomfort, a silent but persistent conflict that robs you of peace. It is like a musical instrument out of tune. No matter how much effort is put into playing a melody, the resulting sound will be harsh and unpleasant. Stoic harmony seeks to tune each part of our being, mind, body, and spirit, so that they resonate in perfect consonance with virtue, creating an inner melody of serenity. The night, with its enveloping stillness and invitation to introspection, offers us the perfect setting to examine this. Internal harmony. Are there areas in your life where you are acting against your highest principles? Are you allowing fleeting and volatile emotions to dictate your actions, dragging you away from your reason? Are you acting in a way that goes against what your deepest reason tells you is right? By answering these questions with radical honesty and without judgment, you can begin the vital process of readjustment, realigning each part of your being. Harmony within you is not static or a state reached once, and for all as a final destination. It is rather a continuous practice, an art perfected day by day, requiring constant self-awareness, unbreakable mental discipline, and a firm and lasting commitment to personal improvement. It is the intentional and deliberate effort to think with crystalline clarity, act with unbreakable justice, respond to adversity with serene courage, and live each moment with temperance that balances desires. When you achieve living in harmony with reason, your life becomes more fluid, more authentic, and more meaningful. The decisions you make are clearer and more aligned with your purpose. The relationships you cultivate are deeper and more genuine, and the inner peace you long for at the end of the day deepens, rooting itself in your soul. Are no longer at war with yourself, nor in constant conflict with the external world, but in a state of internal coherence that radiates profound peace to everything around you. Think of a mighty river flowing unobstructed toward the vast and limitless sea. That is the powerful image of a life lived in perfect harmony. The night, with its immutable cosmic order and silent bands of celestial bodies, shows us the immense potential of this alignment. It invites us to silence the dissonant voices within and listen attentively to the pure and harmonious melody of our own reason. By actively cultivating harmony within you, we discover that true happiness and the deepest serenity are not found in external perfection, but in internal coherence, in the total integration of all parts of ourselves, in a virtuous, peaceful, and unified whole. Closing the day with this: harmony is a sublime gift for your soul. Lesson 20. The night speaks to you at its deepest essence. Night is not simply the absence of light, nor a mere interval between the day that ends and the one that begins. It is itself a wise and silent teacher. It instructs us with infinite patience in the art of silence, in the virtue of patience, in the humility of accepting that which escapes our control. Stoicism invites us to contemplate every aspect of existence, even the deepest darkness, as an invaluable opportunity to learn, grow, and expand our wisdom. The night speaks to you. The night speaks to you of patience. The dawn, no matter how much we desire it, cannot be hurried. It arrives at its proper, an immutable time with cosmic punctuality. In the same way, many of the answers we seek eagerly, many solutions to our most complex problems, and the flowering of our own being require time. A natural process of maturation, like the seed patiently waiting beneath the earth. Excessive haste and impatience often blind us, preventing us from seeing the path with the clarity needed. The night forces us, with its deep stillness, to pause, to immerse ourselves in calm, to wait consciously, thus cultivating patience. It teaches us to accept mystery. In the darkness of night, we cannot see with our physical eyes what hides beyond the moon's light, but we can trust with deep faith in the order of the universe that life, in all its complexity, continues its unalterable course. This acceptance of not knowing everything, of not having all the answers, is a sublime form of humility, and at the same time a profound liberation from the compulsive need to control everything. It reminds us with its vastness that there are forces and cycles much greater than ourselves, and that wisdom often lies precisely in surrendering to the unknown with serene confidence. letting go of the need for absolute certainty. Night is also an incomparable teacher of introspection. It provides us a protective veil under which we can examine our life with brutal honesty, without judgment or constant pressure from the outside world. In this intimate darkness, we confront our own shadows, those hidden fears, vulnerabilities, parts of ourselves we would rather not see, and instead of avoiding them, transform them into sources of strength and self-knowledge. It teaches us about contrast, a universal principle. Light in its splendor is appreciated and valued more deeply after having experienced darkness. Genuine joy is felt more intensely after having known sadness and pain. Night shows us that life is an incessant dance of opposites, a cosmic choreography, and that every experience, even the most difficult or painful, has an intrinsic purpose in the grand plan of our existence. By understanding that the night speaks to you, that it is a silent teacher, every darkness we face, every challenge that arises, becomes an invaluable opportunity to learn, grow, and deepen our understanding of life and ourselves. It is not something to fear, avoid, or lament, but something to embrace with sincere curiosity and reverent respect. Night invites us to the deepest reflection, to listen to the whispers of wisdom that reveal themselves only in absolute stillness. It teaches us the importance of pause, conscious contemplation, and unbreakable trust in the natural cycles of existence. It is in this nocturnal school, in this silent retreat, where the restless mind calms, the spirit strengthens until it becomes unbreakable, and the soul finds deep peace in the wisdom only darkness can impart. Night is truly an inexhaustible source of existential lessons for the human soul, a guide to close the day with virtue and open the heart to serenity. Lesson 21. Your new beginning after the deepest darkness. After the absolute stillness of the night, the unfailing promise emerges, the immovable certainty of dawn. The first soft, flickering rays of light gradually disperse the densest shadows, revealing the world with renewed clarity, a freshly born beauty. This is the final lesson, and perhaps the most hopeful, that Stoicism, through the eternal symbol of night and day, gives us your new beginning. No matter how dense the shadows that have surrounded you, how challenging or tumultuous your night has been, there is always, absolutely always, a dawn. And this dawn is not just an external phenomenon happening on the horizon. In its purest essence, it is a constant possibility residing and renewing itself deep within us, the rebirth of unbreakable hope, the renewal of pristine mental clarity, the glorious resurgence of virtue after a period of deep introspection, learning, and transformative growth. A new beginning is the natural culmination, the flower that blooms after bravely embracing the lessons of the night. It is the unshakable serenity that arises from wisely accepting what you cannot change and what constantly flows. It is the indomitable strength born of having overcome adversity and pain. It is the profound peace found in letting go of attachments and accepting reality as it is. It is the most authentic freedom emanating from having learned to master your own thoughts. It is the beautiful conclusion of a journey of self-discovery, resilience, and deep personal transformation. This dawn, with its promise of renewal, does not deny the existence of past darkness, nor the challenges that may arise in the future. On the contrary, it equips us, arms us with ancestral wisdom and the resilience necessary to face them with unbreakable calm. It teaches us that the light, that essential light of reason and virtue, is always present, even when hidden behind the densest clouds of confusion or adversity. We only need to seek it intentionally, to actively cultivate it within ourselves. Think of the sun itself, that immense star that is always there, unaltered, even on the darkest night, simply waiting for its predestined moment to shine again in all its splendor. Our reason, our virtue, our inalienable capacity to choose how we perceive and respond are like that inner sun. They are always present deep within our being, waiting for us to awaken them, to use them wisely to illuminate our own path, and that of others. Your new beginning is, in essence, a vibrant call to conscious and virtuous action. It is the profound invitation to carry the lessons learned in the sacred stillness of the night into the expansive light of day, to apply Stoic wisdom in every interaction, every decision, every way we live each moment of our life. It is the tangible and beautiful manifestation of our virtue in the world, a beacon of calm amid the storm. At the end of this introspective journey through the night, we realize with luminous clarity that the answers to our deepest questions were not outside waiting to be discovered in the external world, but inside waiting to be heard in the silence of our hearts. The silence of the night was the catalyst, the sacred and nurturing space where we could hear the subtle yet powerful whispers of our own inner wisdom. And with your new beginning, every day that arrives becomes a new and glorious opportunity to live with clear purpose, unshakable calm, and a profound sense of peace emanating from the deepest core of our being. It is the joyful recognition that the brightest, most authentic light has always resided within you, waiting to be fully revealed. And by embracing that inner dawn, every moment of your existence is illuminated by the timeless wisdom that the silence of the night has gifted you. Lesson 22. Persist. With virtual life, like the course of a river flowing through valleys and mountains, endlessly presents twists, meanders, and sometimes abrupt waterfalls. In this constant journey, the virtue of persistence becomes our firmest oar and most reliable compass. Stoicism teaches us that true character is not forged in the absence of difficulties, but in the unbreakable resolution to move forward with virtue, no matter how arduous the path. The night, with its long duration and its inevitable promise of dawn, whispers to us the importance of not giving up on our purpose. To persist with virtue means to remain faithful to our rational and moral principles, even when everything seems to go against us. It implies cultivating patience to face slow processes and delayed results, the strength to endure adversity without complaint, and the wisdom to learn from every stumble. It is not blind obstinacy, but conscious determination grounded in reason and the choice of what is right. It is understanding that occasional failure is not final defeat, but a stop along the way that offers a valuable lesson and the opportunity to adjust our course. Think of an artisan carefully working on a complex piece. He does not give up at the first mistake, nor get discouraged if the initial result is imperfect. With each imperfection, he learns, adjusts his technique, and persists until achieving the masterpiece. So we must approach our own life, especially the cultivation of our character. Each day is an opportunity to chisel our soul, to polish our virtues, and this requires unwavering persistence, constant dedication, without expecting immediate perfection. Anxiety often arises from impatience, the need for instant results, or frustration at obstacles. But Stoicism invites us to a long-term vision, to understand that true progress is gradual and cumulative. The night, with its slow passing, reminds us that there is a time for everything, and that the seed planted today will only germinate and flourish if given the necessary time and care. To persist with virtue means that in the face of injustice, we do not respond with more injustice, but with our own righteousness. Faced with provocation, we do not fall into anger, but maintain calm and reason. In adversity, we do not surrender to despair, but seek the opportunity to demonstrate our resilience. It is an act of deep self-discipline and unbreakable faith in the power of reason and moral choice. The night, in its mysterious constancy, offers us the perfect stage to reflect on our own persistence. It invites us to evaluate where we have faltered, where we have given in to comfort or impatience, and to renew our commitment to the path of virtue. At the end of each day, when closing our eyes, we can feel the deep satisfaction of having persisted in our purpose, having maintained our integrity. This virtuous persistence not only leads us to inner peace, but also makes us examples of strength and serenity for others. It is the promise that no matter the shadows that surround us, our inner light of virtue can always burn steadily, guiding us toward the dawn of a full and meaningful life. Lesson 23. The wisdom of silence on the vast stage of the night. The entire world seems to settle into a deep, reverent silence. The noisy voices of the day fade away. The incessant murmur of worries disappears, and in this stillness arises a unique opportunity to connect with a source of knowledge that transcends language, the wisdom of silence. Stoicism teaches us that true understanding is not always found in eloquence or debate, but in the capacity to listen, not only with our ears, but with our soul, to what is revealed in the absence of noise. The wisdom of silence is the art of deep listening, the ability to tune in to the voice of our own inner reason, that infallible guide often drowned out by the clamor of external distractions and the incessant monologues of our own mind. In daily life, we are constantly bombarded by stimuli, by others' opinions, by the need to respond and act. This can prevent us from seeing clearly, feeling deeply, and understanding authentically. But the night, with its cloak of calm, offers us a refuge for this essential listening. Imagine a vast nocturnal desert. The air is still, and the faintest sound, a falling leaf, the whisper of the wind, resonates with astonishing clarity. Such is our mind when freed from noise. In silence, our thoughts quiet, emotions calm, and we can observe with detachment the flow of our consciousness. It is in this space of stillness where intuitions gain strength, where solutions to complex problems can present themselves with unexpected clarity, and where naked, unadorned truth becomes evident. Stoicism invites us to practice silence not only as an absence of sound, but as a mental attitude. It is the discipline of contemplation, meditation on our principles, evaluation of our actions, and projection of our intentions with a serene mind. The wisdom of silence teaches us to be more mindful of our own words before uttering them, to choose the right moment to speak, and to value the power of attentive listening when others express themselves. It helps us discern between superficial noise and the essence of what is communicated. By cultivating silence in our lives, we not only find peace, but also develop greater empathy. By silencing our own need to opine or impose our perspective, we open a space to truly understand others, to listen to their concerns, joys, and pains. We become more patient, compassionate, and wise in our interactions. The night, with its lesson of stillness, shows us that silence is not emptiness, but fullness. It is a fertile space where seeds of wisdom can germinate and grow. At the end of each day, immersing ourselves in this profound calm, we can tune in to the wisdom of silence, allowing our reason to strengthen and our soul to find its true balance. This practice lets us close the day with deep virtue, freeing us from the anxiety of noise and opening our being to the serenity of the deepest understanding. Lesson 24. Embrace the present. The night, in its very essence, is a teacher of immediacy. It does not worry about the sun that has already set, nor does it become impatient for the dawn that is yet to come. It simply is, in its dark and silent fullness, radiating total presence. This is a fundamental Stoic lesson, the vital importance of embracing the present with our whole being. Our minds too often act as tireless travelers, wandering aimlessly among regrets of the past, binding guilt, and paralyzing anxieties about the future. We consume ourselves with what has already happened and cannot be changed, or we fret over what might happen and has not yet manifested. In this incessant back and forth between times, life itself, the only moment we truly possess and in which we can act, slips through our fingers without being fully lived. Stoicism teaches us with crystal clear clarity that the only point in time where we can exercise our will, where we have real power to make meaningful decisions, and where our authentic freedom resides is in the here and now. The past, no matter how vivid, is only memory. The future, no matter how promising or threatening, is mere expectation. Only the present is tangible, real, the only canvas upon which we can paint our existence. In the enveloping tranquility of night, with minimal distractions, we have the perfect opportunity to anchor our attention consciously and deliberately. In this moment, we can feel the soft caress of the night breeze, hear the delicate whispers of silence, observe the stillness of stretching shadows. By fully immersing ourselves in the present, we free ourselves from the invisible chains of time and enter a state of total presence. This does not mean ignoring the past or future, but learning the lessons the past offers us to avoid repeating mistakes and planning the future wisely, yet without allowing these reflections to rob us of the peace and vitality of the current moment. Embracing the present is a constant practice, a mental discipline of bringing our awareness again and again to what is happening right now. When we are completely present, our perceptions sharpen, our capacity for gratitude expands, and our ability to respond to challenges becomes far more effective and virtuous. We are no longer divided, fragmented by time, but united, whole, in the only instant that truly matters. Think of the vast difference between being a mere spectator of your own life and being the protagonist who lives every second with full intensity. When we are trapped in the past or future, we are passive observers. But when we firmly anchor ourselves in the present, we become the true architects of our existence, living every experience with unparalleled depth and full awareness. The night, with its absence of external stimuli, facilitates this immersion. With less noise, it is easier to direct our attention inward, to the breath, to bodily sensations, to the simple and wonderful fact of existing. By diligently practicing embracing the present, we discover that true happiness is not a distant goal achieved in an uncertain future, but an inherent quality of the experience itself, one that we can find and savor at any moment regardless of external circumstances. It is the deep understanding that no matter what the future holds, the present is always a gift, a golden opportunity to live with wisdom, virtue, and unshakable serenity. It is in this space of presence, in the revealing calm of night, where peace becomes tangible, an unbreakable refuge that we carry with us at every step, illuminating every instant of our existence. Closing the day with this profound embrace of the present is the key to virtue and tranquility. Lesson 25. Less is more. Observe the vast and stripped-down canvas of the starry night. It needs no adornments or unnecessary complexities. Its majesty lies in its pure and elemental simplicity, in the unadorned light of stars traveling through infinite space. In the same way, Stoicism, in its deep and timeless wisdom, teaches us that true wealth, authentic fullness, and lasting happiness are not found in unbridled accumulation, but in the profound understanding that less is more, in the conscious choice of a life of noble simplicity. In a world that constantly pushes us to consume, acquire, to seek the complex and extravagant, as if happiness resided therein, the night offers us a balm for our unrest. It invites us to let go of the superfluous, to recognize with crystal clear clarity that true joy is not measured by the number of material possessions we accumulate, but by the quality of our character and the unbreakable peace dwelling in our minds. Think about what is truly essential for life: nourishment, a roof over our heads, restful sleep, and meaningful human connections. Beyond these basic needs, much of what we crave are additions, luxuries that paradoxically often complicate our lives instead of enriching them, adding layers of unnecessary worry and anxiety. The philosophy of less is more is not synonymous with poverty or deprivation. At its core, it is a deliberate, conscious and powerful choice. It is the decision to live with fewer material distractions, fewer external attachments, with the fundamental purpose of focusing and dedicating our vital energy to what truly matters and nourishes our spirit, the cultivation of our reason and the perfection of our virtues. When we choose to simplify our lives, we not only free precious time, but also a vast amount of mental and emotional energy. We free our minds from incessant worry about maintaining, acquiring, and protecting material goods, a cycle that is often endless and exhausting. This deep liberation allows us to direct our attention and efforts toward cultivating essential virtues, the wisdom to discern what is right, justice to act with fairness and integrity, courage to face challenges firmly, and temperance to master our impulses and desires. The lesson that less is more teaches us the art of valuing what we already possess, of finding deep gratitude in the everyday, in the simple wonder of each conscious breath, in the immense beauty of a silent starry night, in the warmth of an honest conversation with a loved one, in the intrinsic satisfaction that comes from a job well done. It allows us to savor the pure pleasure of a moonlit walk, the delight of a deep conversation that nourishes the soul, the joy of genuine and selfless companionship. The night, with its sober aspect and intrinsic beauty without artifices, lights the path toward this way of life. It reminds us that what is truly essential is not captured by the eyes of boundless ambition, but by the serene gaze of appreciation. It invites us to drop unnecessary burdens, to discover the true freedom that lies in not desiring the superfluous, in not being at the mercy of external desires. By adopting the wisdom that less is more, we discover that true abundance is not what we accumulate in our hands or bank accounts, but what we experience in our hearts and minds. It is not what we possess in the outer world, but what we are within, the richness of our character. And it is in this virtue of simplicity, in this conscious choice of sobriety, where we find a peace and satisfaction that no material wealth, however vast, can equal. It is the profound wisdom of living with little, but living it all with unbreakable fullness. Closing the day with this: awareness is an act of deep virtue that nourishes the soul. Lesson 26. Pain is a teacher in the vastness of the night. Shadows lengthen, and the cold can cut deep. Yet even in this apparent darkness, we find a vital Stoic lesson. Pain is a teacher. Pain is not an enemy to be avoided at all costs, but a stern, often uncomfortable instructor revealing profound truths about ourselves and the unchanging nature of existence. Stoicism invites us not to flee from pain, but to understand its purpose and extract wisdom from its presence. Pain is a teacher because it forces us to stop. In the rush of the day, it is easy to ignore the signals and warnings of our body or mind, but pain, whether physical or emotional, demands our attention. It compels us to look inward, examine causes, confront vulnerabilities. It is in this forced interruption where the opportunity to learn arises. An illness teaches us the fragility of life and the value of health. Loss teaches us the worth of what we had and the impermanence of all things. Failure reveals the limits of our knowledge and the necessity of humility. Think of how an athlete strengthens muscles through effort and a certain degree of pain. Without that tension, without challenge, the muscle does not grow. In the same way, our soul and character are strengthened by facing and transcending pain. Stoicism teaches that suffering itself is neither good nor bad. It is our interpretation of it that colors it. If we see it as an unjust punishment, we sink into bitterness. If we see it as an opportunity for virtue, a challenge to apply our reason and resilience, it becomes a powerful tool for growth. The night, with its silence, is the perfect moment for this reflection. In stillness, we can analyze the pain we have experienced, not to relive it, but to understand it. What did this pain teach me about my own strength? What did it reveal about my priorities? Did it help me become more compassionate, more patient, wiser. Paradoxically, pain can be a path to gratitude by making us appreciate the absence of pain or the recovery that follows. Pain is also a teacher because it reminds us what lies beyond our control. We cannot control the fact that we will experience pain in life, but we can control how we react to it. We can choose to maintain inner calm and reason, even when body or heart suffer. We can choose not to add extra suffering with useless complaints, self-pity, or resentment. This choice is the true power Stoicism grants us. By understanding that pain is a teacher, we transform our relationship with adversity. We no longer fear it in the same way because we see it as a potential source of wisdom and strength. The night, with its ability to reveal starlight only in darkness, shows us that the deepest lessons often come in the hardest moments. At the end of the day, reflecting on the pain that has visited us, we can close the day with the virtue of wisdom and resilience, knowing that every experience, even the harshest, has taught us something invaluable and brought us closer to unshakable peace. Lesson 27. Reason guides you in the vastness of the night. When the passions of the day calm and the veil of illusions lifts, a clear and constant light reveals itself. Reason. At its core, Stoicism teaches us that reason guides you. It is our most reliable internal compass, the beacon allowing us to navigate life's complexities with wisdom and purpose. It is not a volatile emotion or a blind impulse, but a faculty inherent to our human nature, capable of discerning truth and directing. Used toward virtue. Reason guiding you means we possess the capacity to think clearly, analyze situations objectively, and make decisions grounded in logic and our highest principles. In life's whirlwind, we often get swept away by intense emotions, impulsive desires, or others' opinions, but reason offers us an escape route, path to autonomy. It is the inner voice asking, is this right? Is this useful? Is this virtuous? Think of an experienced navigator. He does not let himself be carried away by the whim of superficial winds or visible currents. Instead, he consults his maps, compass, and knowledge of the stars. He follows reason to reach his destination safely. So must we operate in life. Emotions, desires, and aversions are like those winds and currents. They are natural, but if followed blindly, they can lead us astray or cause anxiety. Reason lets us chart the right course, maintaining direction even in storms. The night, with its stillness, is the perfect time to strengthen this faculty. Fewer external distractions. Our mind can focus more sharply. We can review the day's events and ask ourselves, did I act according to reason today? Was I carried away by uncontrolled emotion? Were my decisions aligned with my deepest values? This rational self-observation is fundamental for Stoic growth. Reason guides you to distinguish between what you can control, your judgments, actions, character, and what you cannot, external events, others' opinions. By applying reason to this distinction, you free immense energy previously spent trying to control the uncontrollable. You can focus on perfecting your inner world, the only realm over which you have absolute sovereignty. Allowing reason to guide you makes you more resilient to adversity. Difficulties do not overwhelm you because you examine them with a clear mind and find opportunities for virtue. Frustration decreases because you understand that most problems do not come from events themselves, but from your irrational judgments about them. The night, revealing the mathematical and predictable order of the cosmos, teaches us the beauty and reliability of reason. It invites us to trust our innate ability to think, discern, and choose rightly. At day's end, when closing your eyes, you can feel the deep peace that comes from living guided by reason, not by whim. This adherence to reason is the essence of Stoic virtue and the key to closing the day with serenity, freed from the chains of irrational anxiety. Lesson 28. Choose your response on life's vast stage. Events unfold endlessly, some pleasant, others challenging. Yet amid this constant flow, Stoicism reveals a liberating and empowering truth. We cannot control what happens to us, but we hold an inalienable power over how we choose to respond. Night, with its reflective silence, offers space to recognize and cultivate this profound freedom. Choose your response means that between an external event and your reaction lies a space, a sacred space, infinitely small but immensely powerful, where your freedom resides. It is in that moment, before an emotion drags you or an impulse dominates, where you can intervene with reason and will. A Stoic understands that suffering does not arise directly from the adverse event, but from our judgment of it. If we judge something as bad or terrible, we suffer. If we judge it as indifferent or as an opportunity for virtue, our peace remains intact. Think of a strong gust of wind. You cannot stop it from blowing, but you can choose whether to resist it with all your might and exhaust yourself, or adjust your sails and use its energy to move forward in a desired direction. Similarly, life will present adverse winds, unjust criticism, unexpected losses, illness. We cannot prevent these winds from impacting us, but we can choose our internal response. We can opt for anger, complaint, despair, or choose calm, resilience, acceptance, and virtuous action. The night, with its stillness, is the ideal time for this practice of conscious choice. We can review the day's challenges and ask, how did I respond? Was my reaction impulsive or rational? Did I lament what I could not change or focus on what I could do? This self-analysis helps identify automatic reaction patterns and replace them with more deliberate and virtuous responses. Choosing your response is the key to personal autonomy. When you master this skill, you cease to be a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your own experience. No matter how chaotic the outside world, your inner peace remains because you understand that your serenity does not depend on the world adapting to your wishes, but on your ability to adapt your mind to reality. This is the true freedom Stoicism offers, the freedom of the mind, control over our inner world. By consciously exercising your power to choose your response, you cultivate the virtues of temperance, resilience, and wisdom. You become a beacon of calm to others, inspiring by example. The night, offering its vast silence for reflection, invites you to practice this choice again and again, strengthening that muscle of the will. At day's end, closing your eyes, you can feel the deep satisfaction of having exercised your greatest power, the power to choose how you live, feel, and relate to the world. This conscious choice is the essence of virtue and the path to closing the day with unshakable peace, free from the anxiety of the uncontrollable. Lesson 29. Act with purpose in the vastness of the night. Stars do not wander aimlessly. Each follows a precise orbit, part of a larger cosmic design. Their movement is a testimony to purpose. Stoicism teaches us that, like the cosmos, our life must be lived with intention, with clear direction emanating from our reason and values. Act with purpose means every action, big or small, must be imbued with meaning and aligned with a virtuous goal. It is not about always being busy, but being consciously committed to what we do. In a world full of distractions and seemingly pointless tasks, the Stoic seeks to infuse each moment with intentionality. This frees us from anxiety, dispersion, and the feeling that life drags us without direction. Think of a sculptor. He does not strike marble randomly. Each chisel blow has purpose, a clear vision of the final work. Likewise, each day of our life is an opportunity to sculpt our character. Each decision, word, and interaction is a chisel strike. If we act without purpose, our efforts are chaotic and the outcome uncertain. But if we act with purpose, each action brings us closer to the person we wish to be. The Stoic ideal of virtue. The night, with its stillness and invitation to reflection, is the perfect moment to evaluate our purpose. We can review the past day and ask, were my actions aligned with my deepest values? Did I spend energy on trivial or truly important tasks? Did I live intentionally or let inertia carry me? This self-examination lets us adjust course for the next day, ensuring each dawn is a new opportunity to live with greater purpose. Acting with purpose frees us from regret, anxiety. When our actions are deliberate and aligned with reason, there is no room for lament. Even if the external result is not as expected, we know we did what was right, acted with virtue, and that is the only thing truly under our control. Concern for success or failure fades because our reward already lies in the integrity of the action itself. This practice also helps us prioritize. With a clear purpose, we can more easily discern what is essential from what is superficial. We learn to say no to distractions and demands that pull us away from virtuous goals, energy channels, more effectively, and our life gains greater coherence and meaning. The night, with its cosmic order and predictable paths of celestial bodies, teaches us the beauty of intionality. It invites us to live more consciously, more directed, more meaningful. At day's end, closing our eyes, we can feel the deep peace that comes from acting with purpose, having invested energy in what truly matters. This dedication to purpose is the essence of Stoic virtue and the key to closing the day with serenity, free from the anxiety of a life without direction. Lesson 30. Your legacy of peace at the end of the deepest night, when stars begin to fade and the first rosy tones of dawn color the horizon. A question transcending the present moment arises. What mark will we leave on the world? Stoicism, in its most mature wisdom, invites us to reflect on our legacy of peace, that it is not about building monuments or accumulating fame, but about the quality of our life and the serene, virtuous impact we have had on ourselves and others. Legacy of peace is not something built at life's end, but woven with each choice, each action, and each word we utter. It is the sum of virtues we cultivate. The calm with which we face adversity, the wisdom with which we discern truth, the justice with which we treat others, and the temperance with which we master impulses. Active virtue is a seed of peace sown in the garden of existence. Think of past Stoic philosophers. Their lives were not always easy or glorious in a worldly sense, but their legacy of peace and wisdom has transcended centuries, offering comfort and guidance to countless generations. They did not seek fame but virtue, and in that selfless pursuit, left an indelible mark. So too can we aspire to leave an echo of serenity in the world, not through great feats, but through the coherence of our character and calm of our spirit. Anxiety often arises from worrying about what others think of us, the need for external recognition, or fear of not being enough. But Stoicism frees us from these chains. It teaches that the only approval that matters is that of our own reason and conscience. By focusing our energy on living virtuously, without worrying about applause or criticism, we build a legacy of peace unshakable because it resides within our very being. The night, with its power to silence the world's noise and invite deep introspection, is the ideal moment to reflect on this legacy. What kind of influence do I want to have on my family, friends, and community? Do I want to be remembered for my anxiety, complaints, anger, or for my serenity, wisdom, and compassion? This reflection drives us to live each day with greater intention, to be more aware of the energy we send into the world. Your legacy of peace is the culmination of all the lessons the night has offered. It is the result of accepting the uncontrollable, cultivating inner calm, seeing clearly, embracing change, strengthening the spirit, letting go and flowing, appreciating simplicity, listening to truth, living the now, mastering the mind, affirming spirit freedom, rising again, loving without possession, embarking on your heroic journey, connecting with all, appreciating fleeting beauty, finding light in darkness, endlessly giving thanks, seeking inner harmony, listening to night's teachings, embracing new beginnings, persisting with virtue, finding wisdom in silence, embracing the present, understanding less is more, learning from pain, letting reason guide you, choosing your response, and acting with purpose. At the end of each day, closing your eyes beneath the starry mantle, you can feel the deep and lasting peace that comes from knowing you are building, moment by moment, a legacy of peace and virtue. It is the serenity of a life lived aligned with reason and nature. And upon waking to a new dawn, you carry with you the promise to continue weaving this legacy one day at a time, one choice at a time, closing the day with virtue and opening your heart to a peace that resonates beyond your own existence. As we close this night's journey of wisdom and reflection, I invite you to carry these lessons into your daily life. Remember, every night is a chance to grow, to find calm in silence, and to build a legacy of virtue and inner peace. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the Stoic Alchemist channel to continue exploring the transformative power of Stoicism together. Hit the bell to never miss a new lesson, and share this video with those seeking a fuller, more mindful life. Thank you for walking this path with me. May serenity and reason always guide your nights and your days.